Hi, can you guys see me? Okay. Hi. Hi, Sarah. Okay, I'm live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This is Michelle from Michelle's Macarons. Hi. I'm answering some Macaron questions. So if you've got any questions, ask them below and they'll pop up. And I also have some questions that people have asked me this past week that I'm going to try to answer. Hi, Joanna. Okay, so if you have any questions, ask them below and they'll pop up. And I'm going to start with some other questions that people asked during the week when I put this on social media. So I had a lot of questions about the watercolor macarons I made. And hi, Starlet. Hi, Barbara. I have a lot of questions. I posted some watercolor macarons on my Instagram and Facebook recently, and I had some people ask about those. So I'll talk about those first. Okay, Caitlin said, what do you use for the watercolor look? I use liquid food coloring and I water it down a little bit. So I hear a lot of people say that they add a little vodka instead of water, but I've found that water works just fine for me. And if I have to do it in layers though. Like I have to do one wash of the watercolor, let it dry completely, then do another one. Because if not, then it'll get soggy and the shell will break. So I think I might do a video. Maybe next week I'll do a live video on the watercolor macarons. Let me know in the comments if you think that's something you'd be interested in, because I could just set these up. I don't know if I could do it on all of them, but I could try to set it up so you can watch me paint the watercolor macarons, because it is seriously easy. Sometimes I even do it with my left hand, and I'm right-handed. Because you kind of want it to look messy. So once I show you the technique, I feel like a lot of people will be able to do it. If you're just joining, ask your questions below and they'll pop up and I'll be able to read them. Okay, so, and let me know if you want to do the watercolor. Okay, so someone on Instagram said, hold on. Yeah, let me know if you want me to do the watercolor tutorial. All right, someone on Instagram said, how do you store macaron shells to keep them from drying out or getting crisp and hard? I usually don't store them unless they're filled, and they don't get hard or crispy once they're filled. But you could just make sure are you filling them first, or are you just doing the macaron shells? If so, I think I would freeze them and make sure they're in a real airtight container. Oh yeah, they will soften up once you fill them. Yeah, once you fill them. Okay, so some people are saying yes to the watercolor tutorial. So let me know in the comments if you think I should do that next week, maybe. I don't know how I can figure that. I'll have to try to figure that out. Okay, so Karen asked, how do you paint them? So for the watercolor, I was just saying I use liquid food coloring, and I add a little water to it, and I just kind of do layers on it. I make sure they're dry. Hey, Nicole. I make sure they're dry every time, in between each layer. So that's really important. I don't know if it's as important when you're using vodka, but I use water, so I have to make sure each layer of the watercolor is dried every time. So, but for others, I paint them with a different paint that there's no water involved. It's a paint for cookies and macarons. So that's a lot easier to use, but I can't get the watercolor look with that. So I can link that, or message me and I will send you a link for the other paints I use. And there's a lot of edible, there's markers with edible ink. I like those a lot. So someone on YouTube asked, does your cottage food laws restrict your buttercream use? If yes, how did you deal? We have pretty good cottage food laws in Ohio. We were allowed to use buttercream, but we weren't allowed to, or I don't bake under cottage laws anymore, because I have a bakery now, but when I did, I could use buttercream, I think, but not anything with cream cheese or cream or anything like that in it. But I hate to say this, but you could probably use shortening. There are some good shortening buttercream recipes. What state are you in? I'm not sure. Okay, if you're just joining, ask some questions below and let me know if you want me to do the watercolor tutorial. Okay, so let's see what else. Allison from Gracefield Baker asked, how do you get them white? So last week we talked about this a little bit. I add a little bit of like violet or purple food coloring to kind of tone out the yellow or the brown that the baking causes, because I've never found a white food coloring that works for me. So I just kind of use the opposite color of whatever color they're turning, and I add just a couple drops of that. If you're just joining, ask your questions below. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of people saying yes to the watercolor tutorial. So maybe I'll do that live and then answer questions while I'm painting, because it's kind of boring. So maybe I'll do that. That sounds fun. Gracefield Baker, Allison, did I answer your question about getting the white? Have you tried putting a little violet or a little purple or blue? Okay, I'm definitely going to do the watercolor. A lot of people have said that. How do you paint them? Oh, Kenley asked, have you ever tried cotton candy macarons? Yeah, and they were good, but it's hard to get people to try the cotton candy because usually it's too sweet. But I really like that flavor, and I'll do a video on that if you want. Let me know if you want cotton candy. Okay. Oh, and Allison, Gracefield Baker, you could try putting your macarons in a lower shelf in the oven, and that could help with the browning, because if you have them up too high, then they will get a little more brown. Oh, Captain Crunch, that's a good flavor too. I'll have to do that one. Thank you. Okay, cotton candy. Okay, all right, so what else? So Regina asked, how about tempering chocolate to cover macarons or ganache? So I never temper chocolate because it's a pain, and because I don't want that snap when I second Captain Crunch. Okay, I'll do Captain Crunch. Okay, I don't like the snap because I think it's too hard for the macaron shell. So I like a softer chocolate. So I just melt it on a double boiler, and then I put a little bit of vegetable oil in. Hi, Mom. And then I put a little bit of vegetable oil in it so it's softer. So I don't temper chocolate ever. I just don't think it's necessary. I guess you could if you're doing like a candy bar flavored, but even that, I think that the snap is not necessary for the top of the macaron. Okay. If you have any questions, ask them below. Okay, so I'm getting some yeses on a cotton candy video too. Okay. I use basically just cotton candy in a buttercream, and then I kind of try to balance it out with other stuff so it's not too sweet. Hi, Lindsay. So Captain Crunch, okay. Ask your questions below and they'll pop up. Someone asked me something about opening a bakery. Was the process stressful opening a bakery? I wouldn't say it was that. It wasn't stressful so much as it was. I guess it was kind of. I don't know. It wasn't that bad because I don't know. Troy's a really good community, so it seemed kind of easier in Troy because it's like such a small town that it seemed like. I don't know. It didn't seem too bad for me, and also because I did it so slowly. Like it was like cottage food dolls first, baking at home, then a home bakery, then it was it just like I gradually grew the business, so it wasn't too crazy because it wasn't like all of a sudden out of nowhere. So someone on Instagram asked, hi Michelle, wanted to know if you use any oil-based flavors for your shells. Do you mean in the shells? And do you mean like oil extracts, or what do you mean by that? Barbara on YouTube said, I see many people use sprinkles. My concern is they don't make the macarons sink if you put them on before they form a skin. Oh, don't they make the macarons sink? Well, I think maybe if you have more of a delicate macaron recipe, but I haven't had that happen unless I'm doing, not with sprinkles, I haven't had that happen. I've had that happen with like maybe if I put too many chocolate chips on the top, then it kind of holds it down. But I kind of assumed that was from all the fat in the chocolate. So also you could try just dipping them in white chocolate after they're baked and then put the sprinkles on. That's what I do sometimes if I think the sprinkles look a little too heavy. because a lot of the times the real heavy sprinkles are made with chocolate, and those melt in the things in the oven anyway. Okay, if you're just joining, ask some questions. Gina says, can you make fat-free macarons? I've tried so many times, Gina. I'll tell you the story. I tried to make keto macarons once, and I made them with, what's that sweetener that's like, it's Swerve, okay? And I thought they were awful, and we had a squirrel on our porch at our old house when I lived in town, and I would put my trash out on the porch, and the squirrel would get into the trash and eat the macarons sometimes. But when I made the keto macarons with Swerve, the squirrel wouldn't even eat those macarons. Okay, I'm sorry. So I hated those, and I haven't tried them since. Okay, so Jenny says, have you ever done a Cabernet or red wine flavor with some chocolate? That would be amazing. I have not. Wait, did I? I think I maybe tried something with like a red wine chocolate. I did like I don't remember, but that's a good idea. Maybe I wouldn't be able to sell that in the shop, but maybe I could do a video on that if anyone's interested. Okay, if you're just joining, ask any questions below, and then I will see them pop up. Okay, who else? Oh, so Terry said, oh no, Instagram's paused because my internet's not working. Can you guys still see me on Facebook? Can you see me on YouTube? Okay, let me know if you can see me on Facebook and Instagram. It paused, my internet went out, it said. Okay, I'll keep going. But let me know if you can see me. Okay, YouTube says they can see me. Can you see me on Instagram? Okay, thanks, Holly. Okay, so, wow, maybe my internet's going in and out. I might have to cut this short. I can see you here, but not on Instagram. Hey, Instagram people, can you see me? IG, yes. Okay, so I'm back on. So, dang, so if you're on Facebook, you can go onto Instagram. Instagram's working because I have that on my phone. So it's Michelle's Macarons on Instagram if you need to pop over there. Okay, weird. Okay, so Terry asked, oh, Holly doesn't have Instagram. Okay, Terry said, do you ever stop and scrape the mixing bowl to be sure all the sugar is dissolving in the egg whites? I'm curious to see if the stopping has a bearing on the stability of the meringue. I used to. When I first started, I made sure like every single sugar crystal was dissolved in there, but now I don't, and I haven't noticed a difference. So I just think that keeping the mixer going is really important and not taking any breaks from beating the meringue. I think that's the most important, and having all the sugar crystals dissolved is not the most important. Okay, so it seems like Instagram. Oh, okay, so whoever asked, so I don't flavor the shells. Someone on Instagram asked about flavoring the shells with extracts. I don't flavor the shells usually unless it's a textural thing or like Fruity Pebbles or something where I want the shell to taste different. Oh, okay, so, and then also someone asked about if I used any oil-based flavoring to my shells. I wouldn't do that, I don't think. I've only ever used water and alcohol-based on my shells, but no, I wouldn't even try that. I would keep any oil away from the macaron shell and just save it for the filling because you're good to go there. If you're just joining, ask questions below and they'll pop up. Okay, so let's see. Someone on YouTube said, please tell me why my macarons came out perfect for the first time. I'm 12 years old. Hi. They did come out perfect? That's great. Or did you try again and they didn't? That happened to me. They were perfect the first time and then they were crappy after that. But they should keep getting better if you keep trying. Let me know if that was your first time trying. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I avoid extracts in the shell if I can. And then I just do like powders or cereal or whatever. anything dry like that. Mary says, what is your favorite coloring? Favorite coloring. I use just whatever I get at Kroger. The neon ones are so bright and pretty. I love them. But I also have gotten Amerigel, I think it's called. Does anyone know? I get it on Amazon. Oh, and Master Elites. They have really great powder ones that a lot of people use for macarons. So try those. I haven't tried them yet. I just got a bunch of flavors, and they're hard. It's hard for them to keep them in stock. So I'm waiting for those to come in. So Michelle says, is there any particular care for freezing them with or without filling? Yeah, so if you're freezing them without filling or with, just both, make sure that you are putting them in an airtight container. That's most important with everything. Americolor, yeah. I think I really like the Americolor. It's a gel, right, Diane? I like that brand a lot, and I think they have a good neon, or maybe it's Chef Master. I forget. If you could make any flavor, what would you choose? I like the lemon cake right now. It's a fun one. Oh, Carol on YouTube says, have you ever used coconut flour instead of almond flour? Yeah, so when I first started, I made a pina colada flavor, and I straight subbed the whole thing of almond flour for coconut, and they were very dry, and I didn't like them. But you could maybe do half and half, or is it for an allergy? Because you could, and then maybe you could mess around with it and see if you could up the egg whites. I don't know. Okay. If you're just joining, ask any questions you have below, and I will answer them. Oh yeah, Heavenly Macarons on Instagram says that they love Master Elite. So it's a good brand of powdered food coloring for making macarons is Master Elites, or the Sugar Art Master Elites. They make them really well. Okay. On YouTube, someone that's 12 years old tried macarons. I've only tried them twice, and they came out perfect with we'll try your recipe now. Oh, good. Okay, let me know how it goes. If you're just joining, ask your questions below, and I will see them. What is a good recipe to start out with instead of regular French vanilla? You mean like what flavor? Because a lot of the times I just make the shells are all the same and the filling's different. You could try one with cocoa powder in it. That's a good second macaron recipe. But if you mean like the whole macaron, the flavor of that, it will change with your filling. Lindsay says, how do you deal if it is raining or crazy humid outside? My macarons never turn out when the weather isn't nice. It hasn't made much of a difference for me unless it's like crazy humid. I have a fan. I usually, if I was somewhere where it was really humid, I would put a fan on them, and that helped a lot. So have you tried using a fan? Okay, Carol says, pistachio flour better to use for flavor or just pistachio in the filling? I've never made them with pistachio flour. I do sometimes sub, maybe for the recipe I use, I take out 25 grams of almond flour and I put in 25 grams of ground pistachios. But I don't know if they could handle having all pistachio flour because it is kind of a fattier nut. So I don't know if that would work. But you could keep trying, like keep doing more and more pistachio with like half almond, half pistachio, and see how it goes. Okay. Barbara says, I follow your recipe and use parchment. Oh, yeah, okay, I wrote this one down. I follow your recipe and use parchment at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 minutes. I'm going to try using my silicone mats instead. Should I adjust time or temperature? No, I never do. Unless you're changing the baking tray you're using, I would just do it exactly the same. Yeah, unless you're changing the tray, I would think it's the same. I never changed anything for that. Starlet30 on Instagram says, I let mine set today for 40 minutes, dry to touch, bake 18 minutes, and have hollow shells. What recipe are you using, and how long did you beat the meringue? If you want, you can send me pictures of the meringue, and I'll tell you if it needs to go a little longer. If you're just joining, ask any questions you have below, and I can answer them. Okay, so I've got some questions from earlier. Okay, I have Kaylee said, I have to use 2 baking trays to bake all of my macs, so should I pipe them all out at once, rest the first tray for 30 minutes and into the oven and let the other rest until the others are baking, or should I wait to pipe the second batch? No, pipe them all at once, then let them all dry together and they'll be fine. Like sometimes when I'm baking huge batches, I have like 10 trays. So, and they're fine. So if you're worried, no, I would just pipe them all at once and then they'll be fine. But yeah, definitely don't let the batter sit. Pipe it as soon as you can, like go as fast as you can with the piping. Okay, so Starlet said she followed my recipe to a T on YouTube. Okay, try sending me, next time you do it, try sending me pictures of each step and I can try to see where there's a problem. Also, did you fill them and let them go in the fridge for 24 hours and then get to room temperature after? That's sometimes a problem. Okay. What kind of oven do you bake your macarons in? Convection or conventional? Convection. But I used to do gas, so it didn't make a difference on flavor at all, or texture at all, but it did. The baking time changed and the temperature. So now I only bake them for 15 minutes and 30 seconds on like 275, 280 or something. But when I had a gas oven, it was 300 for 18 minutes. Someone on YouTube said, what pans do you use? Well, now I have these huge commercial pans, but I used to use the, oh gosh, what are they called? They have like an air gap in between them. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? They're like, they're pans without sides. So I like with no edges if you have a gas oven or something that the airflow isn't great in the oven and it has just one little edge. I forget what it's called, but anyway, those are what I like. But you can use any tray that you have, and if it has edges, you can flip it over and put your parchment or your slip mat on top of that. Air bake. Thank you, Heavenly Macarons. They're called air bake. Those are amazing. That's what I first used when I first started, and that with silicone mats. Air bake, yes. Thank you, Barbara. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yes, Jenny uses the air bake too. Yeah, so if you can get those are the best, I think. Does a Fat Daddy's cookie sheet work well? I have never tried that. Does it have edges or what does it look like? If you're just joining, ask your questions below and I will be able to see them and answer your questions. Okay, but I have some from earlier. Wait, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm done with the earlier questions. What is your favorite flavor to make? I don't know. Probably right now the lemon cake, just because that's so popular. What else? I'll tell you which ones I hate making. The Fruity Pebble. They're so hard to pipe. Okay, and I think next week I think I'm going to try to do a live video of the watercolor. So someone on Instagram said, what is the best way to create multicolored tie-dye macarons? So I have a YouTube video on that. If you go over to my page, it's Michelle's Macarons on YouTube, and the lemon blueberry cheesecake one, I show how to do like a tie-dye look, but you could also separate your batter and color it all different colors. I wouldn't do more than like 3, and then stick those 3 piping bags into another bigger piping bag and pipe that. That's better for more of a like swirl. The other one does what I do in my lemon blueberry cheesecake gives it a more of a like tie-dye jagged look. Someone on YouTube says, my macarons are chewy but not crispy. Why? What recipe are you using? Okay. Oh, cool. Someone on Instagram said, girl, I just got a batch of your macarons out of the oven and they're perfect. 4th time's a charm. You got them sooner than I did, like 100 times. That's great. Okay. If you have any questions, ask them below. I think I'm going to stop doing this soon. Oh, tomorrow I have a new video for snickerdoodle macarons. That's a fun one to make. I really like that one because it's easy to pipe. And I put like cinnamon sugar on the top. Okay. So yeah, next week I think I'm going to try to do a watercolor tutorial. So someone on YouTube asked, my macarons are chewy but not crispy. And she said she or he used the recipe I use. I'm thinking it could be the slit mat I'm using. That's possible. Also, how many times are you folding, do you know? Carol says, where do you get your flavorings from? Are they natural? So I get them from Kroger usually or Costco. Usually they're just pure lemon extract or pure vanilla or orange or whatever I'm using. I do, for my birthday cake one, I purposely use imitation butter. I use real butter and other ingredients, but I use just like a half a teaspoon of imitation butter extract because it makes it have that like cake batter taste. But that's, I think, the only time I use real fake ingredients. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? I think I'm gonna get off here soon. Oh, and I just filmed some videos for Lucky Charms, Frosted Animal Cracker, and what else? I forget the other two, but those will be coming out in March. Okay. If no one else has any questions, I think I'm going to stop. And I think next week I'll be doing, so tomorrow at noon, my snickerdoodle macaron recipe will come out on YouTube. And then next week, I think I'm going to try to do the watercolor. Do you always bake and fill your macarons in the same day? No. So sometimes I'll make a whole batch of the macaron shells and then I'll fill them the next day. But I don't like going any longer than that unless I'm freezing the shells. I feel like they just dry out if they don't have that filling to soak up. Yeah, so I wouldn't wait more than like 2 days. That's just me though, but unless you're freezing them. Danny on Facebook says, I don't like the macarons. I've tried before. I heard yours are the best. What separates yours from others? Am I just not a macaron person or what? I don't know. I've met some people that don't like macarons. My sister hated them when she was pregnant, and now she loves them. But it could just be macarons. They do have almond flour, so if you don't like almonds, that could be. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, Joya. Joya hated them. She said they made her gag before when she was pregnant, and now she loves them. Okay, so yeah, so next week, the problem with that is that I use my laptop for, when I go live, I use my laptop for YouTube, my iPad for Facebook, and my iPhone for Instagram. So if I do the watercolor, I'm going to have to use a tripod to put it over the macarons so you can see them. So I don't know how I would be able to do that on all 3 platforms. So I might have to just do it on 1 or 2, or you'll risk falling. But oh my gosh, Danny said, I'll have to try them again. This is when I was pregnant. That's hilarious. Maybe that's why. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, so if I do it next week, everyone might have to go over to 1 platform because I might have to use a tripod and I won't be able to hold up all these things on a tripod. So I don't know. Oh, or I could, but I'll still answer questions. So maybe I could just, I don't know what I'll do. But if you want me to do that, just comment below. I think I will. Okay, so I'm going to go, unless anyone has any other questions. Okay. No? Okay, well. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week on Monday, and tomorrow I'll have the video out for the snickerdoodle macarons. Okay. Okay, everyone, have a good night. Oh,